welcome to the Workshop Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and joining me today is my lovely wife.
Hello.
Say hi, lovely wife.
I said hello.
You did. Today is New Year's Day, so how was 2025 for you?
I'm glad it's over.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Definitely had some things that didn't go according to plan this year, including our house.
Yeah.
Even the last month with this stupid furnace has just been a nightmare and a half.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of loss and a lot of difficult things this year that,
Yep.
yeah, it's been a tough year.
Been some negative experiences in the family we won't talk about on here that have kind of ended the year on a down note for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you never want to say you can't get any worse from here because it definitely can get worse.
We're not saying that. No fate jinxing, just leave it there.
It's like that. Every time I think I've hit rock bottom, I find that there's a even deeper, rockier bottom and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, in order to avoid spiraling out of control and getting down deeper.
I mean, it's not that we should also say, like, there were some good things.
Yeah, I mean, there's always good things
You
just
graduated.
I finished my degree.
Finished your degree. That's exciting. And now it's licensing and more hoops.
Yeah, more hoops to jump through before I get my full license, and hopefully that doesn't take forever.
Yeah, there's always good things. But anyway, we'll talk about that more later. You
finished all of your classes?
Yeah, I'm down to my practicum and my final project.
Just have practicum?
Mm-hmm. And final project.
So what's your final project supposed to be?
I'm not sure yet.
Is it I'm assuming it's a
capstone project.
Education related.
Yeah, it'll be autism related. Autism education.
Very exciting.
It is exciting.
And you still need to present at a conference though, right? Isn't that part, or is that part of your practicum? Or is that just something that you're looking forward to doing for the fun of it?
I think I'm still supposed to for the capstone project.
As a part of your capstone project.
Yeah.
So that's something we're going to try to do at the teachers convention thing.
Potentially, yes. Yeah. Yeah, it just depends on how like all the dates line up and stuff, because I start my practicum. I thought my practicum started like beginning of January, but it doesn't start till middle to end. It's not like till the 20th. So then I might be still in practicum during convention, not in my capstone.
Well, you're not working on your capstone throughout the whole thing? That's just
No, it's 8 weeks of practicum, then 8 weeks of capstone.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. 16 weeks left.
And then you'll be done and have to start paying off your student loans.
Or I can just take recommendations and go apply for my PhD.
Yep, can definitely do that.
Avoid.
Or we can, completely wing it, because that's how you become successful, is not set goals and
I think that paths. I've been thinking about that today, and I think that's been our previous modus operandi. And maybe we should change that a little bit.
So how do you think we should change it? Wise one.
I'm not. I have been doing a little bit of research for me, because this is my deep dive area of interest, into why goal setting is formulated the way it is, and it's set up for a neurotypical individual to be successful in the format that's laid out in all the pages you get, the goal calendars, the charts you put up, all of those things are developed.
Like SMART goals?
Yeah, because it's developed for like linear progression, right? And SMART goals, like that's part of it, and that I think SMART goals can be adapted to be either way.
So what's the alternative? I mean, you're talking about a linear progression. Like, isn't that how progression works? Is you start
but you're not building
No,
but I think the thing is that you're not building in highs and lows. And in neurodivergent people, you don't move linearly. It just you don't. You have peaks and valleys all the time. And I know that in neurotypical people you don't either, but they're not as high and they're not as low. And there will be regression. Like most studies, and I meant to write this down. where I got this from. But there's a bunch of studies that are talking about how it's really common for neurodivergent people to gain mastery over a skill and then lose it again, and then you have to build it back up.
Mm-hmm.
And neurotypical people don't have to deal with that, right? And so that's why also
not to the same extent, maybe.
That's what I mean by like the higher highs and the lower lows, right? And so, like, say you've set up the habit that you're going to brush your teeth every day. And this is like really extreme, but it's like, so you've set up the habit, you're going to brush your teeth every day for 2 minutes. And once you've done it every day for 30 days or however long, what is it? 60 days? Form a habit? 30 days
usually.
You've got it. You don't have to think about it. But your neurotypical person still has to, on day 31, is still going to go to the bathroom and say, I have to put toothpaste on my toothbrush. I have to start on this side of my mouth. I have to do this for 30 seconds. It doesn't become automated the same way.
Mm-hmm. And we've talked about that before, though.
Right?
With like
yeah. So, but that plays into goal setting as well, because goal setting is also based on you're going to get this goal and it's going to become kind of automatic, and then you don't have to think about that. But there's so much of that doesn't happen for that neurodivergent person, not the least of which it could be that they're getting really good at it, and day 90, oh no, I forgot how to brush my teeth. Which end of the toothbrush do I put in? Or, oh no, like that sensory overload is meaning I can't do it anymore. And we have to find a different toothbrush or a different flavor of toothpaste or different music that we put on, right? Like there's all of those things that play into it that for a neurotypical person, you made the goal, you set 30 days, I'm going to brush my teeth for 2 minutes. By the end of 30 days, you're just going and doing it and you're not thinking about it anymore.
Because there's so much more information to be processed all the time, it's harder to establish the goal, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Because we mistakenly think that people on the spectrum don't feel as much or don't hear as much or whatever, right? When they're really hearing so much more that it's too much. And that goes for ADHD as well. So just kind of like what I was thinking is just remembering that as you set your goals, thinking about goal setting as what ways could I reduce friction in my environment?
Mm-hmm. Friction being things that stop you from achieving your goal.
Not increase more pressure. And that's something to be really careful of, because lots of, especially your high functioning neurodivergent people, mistake putting more pressure on themselves for a goal.
Making it more hard, make it more difficult for yourself, therefore you're...
No, not even that you're making, but like, I have to do this, I have to accomplish this. It creates more pressure inside you and you have to do it. And you're going to perform, you're going to see them perform, but they're going to be a much bigger crash come as a result. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So some examples to think about maybe when you're thinking through goals is to think, I want routines that reduce decision fatigue. I want to I want to maybe stop masking at home or find a safe place where I can unmask and let some of that stuff out. And another one I thought of was that I want systems that work with my executive functioning. So stop trying to like, this is the way that dishes are supposed to be done, right? I mean...
Well, you get, people get trapped into like you mean like the Pinterest perfect sort of things where you find like...
Or the teachers to pay teachers outline for this is chores, this is the order you do them.
This is how it works, but if it doesn't actually work for you that way, it just increases the level.
And that goes for neurotypical people as well, right? So looking for, put systems in that work with your executive functioning, and only you know what's going to work for you.
So then I think this is something that is important to discuss or important to define, because you hear a lot of people establish a system that does it. What is a system? When you say put systems in place to do something, what does that mean? Does that mean you go, find a machine that does X things for you, or what do you mean?
It could. That'd be wonderful. It's called a dishwasher.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
I think it's systems are putting things into place so that you can be successful. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it only answers a part of the question. Because this is what I've always struggled with, when you hear people say, put a system in place that does whatever to help you with your tasks. So what does that really mean?
So I know what you're
like
meaning, and my brain is going to like blank land because you're just throwing it on me. So just give me a second to process.
Like your two basket thing for
Yeah, so that's
self-care
kind of what I
would
was
be an
meaning, like,
example of a system, right?
yeah, or like instead of, okay, so systems are external supports, structures, and routines that reduce mental effort required to plan, start, organize, remember, or complete tasks.
So a system could be an AI assistant voice thing,
It can
like
be
the
reminders on
Amazon
your Alexa.
Amazon thing in your house that can remind you to do certain things at certain
Yeah.
times of the
Yeah.
day.
So what I was thinking actually is like, don't Pinterest organize your kitchen. There's a girl on, and I can't remember her name, that I watch on YouTube sometimes when I have time, and I haven't watched her in a long time, but she's a really good one about go through your kitchen. You don't have to have all your cutlery in one drawer. If you have special spoons, which lots of us do, let's just admit it. I have spoons that I like for certain things and spoons that I like for other things, and they don't like. Anyway, if you have spoons for your tea and your tea bags and all of your stuff in one area, it's easy to go and make yourself a cup of tea. Half the time I don't go make a cup of tea because I have to get a mug from over here. I have to get tea from over here. The honey is over here and it's too much.
So in like a
So you
shop,
make kind of stations, which makes a system, right? Because then everything, those decisions are all, you don't have to make them. I don't have to think, do I have enough energy to go over here to get the honey out of here, to remember where the tea is that I want, to remember, dig through and find the spoon that I want for my tea, because I only want to stir it with this one spoon, to find the mug I want. Whereas if you had your tea station set up in your kitchen, here's my tea.
or your tea tray,
Yeah.
or your
That's
tea
what I mean.
drawer.
Your station, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? Where you keep those things together because that's what works for you. Then when you take it out and wash it and you go put it back over there, then everything's in that spot. Your kettle, everything is right in the same area.
Or like from a shop organization perspective, for example, it's nice to have like the tool wall with everything perfectly laid out and hanging there. But at the same time, if you have a screwdriver for a task on one side and a screwdriver for a task on the other side, you no longer need the organized wall, which
Yeah.
rapidly becomes unorganized.
Yeah.
But you just have the
Set
tool
it up
you
by-
need at the machine that you need.
Yeah, don't put everything together that's like, oh, these are all my handsaws in this area. Well, maybe I use this handsaw for these activities on this side and I use this handsaw over here more frequently.
This is my wood cutting handsaw. This is my violin playing handsaw.
Or your metal cutting handsaw or whatever. Like, just because they're saws, they don't have to be hacksaw. There we go. Just because they're saws, they don't have to be together.
But what if your OCD says that they should be together?
Then that's the system that works for you because that's playing to your executive functioning, right?
So then,
Because like in my closet, our closets, we organize very differently. You organize your shirts by like function, I think, is how you do it. You have like sweaters together and your flannel, which is most of your closet. and like your white Sunday shirts and pants and stuff. How do I organize my closet?
by color.
By color. It has to be by color.
Oh, well, when I feel up to it, I will organize my, but first it's function.
But
then
mine's
it's-
not
then
anything
it's
to do
color.
with function.
I know, it drives me nuts.
have to, because I'm going to go in the morning and I'm going to be like, I feel like this color today. That's how I pick clothes.
I see that, but that
And
this is
that's
this
what
is
works
an
for
example
me,
of
but it doesn't work for you.
this is
right?
an example of what you're meaning. Like,
Exactly.
For me, color is a secondary consideration. I look at it as I want to wear a flannel shirt today because there's no point in wearing any other type of shirt besides a flannel shirt. And if I have to put a sweater on, then I can put that over my flannel shirt. So I have my flannel shirts and my sweaters, and then color is a secondary consideration for me.
Yeah.
Whereas for you, color is the primary choice. And
Yeah.
then and the function is actually the secondary thing.
Yeah, so if I go to the red section, I know that I want to wear red. I'm like, oh, I have these 3 shirts. I need a long sleeve shirt. Here's the option. So it's reduced the fatigue for me instead of I have to dig through all of these to find the color that I'm feeling like.
So
and they get overwhelmed by the colors.
so when you say system, then that's what you're referring to. Is
Yeah.
recognizing your biases and your preferences.
Yeah, and you're
And
putting the system in place to reduce your mental load,
yeah,
right? So that's the biggest thing. It's going to reduce your mental fatigue, minimize your number of steps, and make tasks more visible and concrete.
tasks.
Sorry,
Tasks.
my support. It supports initiation, not just completion, because that's a big part. And we've talked about this before. It's not so much finishing the thing for either one of us that becomes a problem, but initiating it is a problem when you're like, oh, I have to go this from here, and I don't know where that is anymore. And right?
Yeah, it's like the what's his name, Adam Savage, and his first order of retrieval
Yeah.
organization system thing, where if you have to open a drawer to find a thing, then you're probably not going to use the thing.
Yeah. And I think it's important while you're looking at the strategies too to remember that they're not just like try harder strategies. This is just gonna, if I just try harder to do this, right? My strategy is to try harder. That's not helping. If you're not changing, right? They're not motivation-based systems. They're not willpower dependent,
Well, and that's
right?
I
They're
think
not
that's
punitive, and they don't collapse if you miss a day. Do you know what I mean? So they're trying, a system puts into place something to help you deal with those highs and lows that are going to come.
yeah, and that's I think that brings up an important point from like the psychology side of it. People really have limited or a finite amount of decision making abilities,
Yeah.
right? Like, like like let's say you have 10 the ability to make 10 decisions in a day,
Yeah.
and you use up 5 of them trying to figure out where your socks are.
It's the spoon theory, right?
What's the spoon theory?
Have you not heard of spoon theory? You start the day with like so many spoons and then you use up your spoons.
Wait, why don't you explain spoon theory?
Well, now I need to like,
Because I am unfamiliar with spoon theory.
okay, so spoon theory is a way to describe the limited energy and capacity that people with like chronic illness or disability or mental health or neurodivergent has, right? So you start each day with a finite number of spoons and each task costs spoons. Once your spoons are gone, you can't magically
Get more
get more
spoons.
spoons. And you can't borrow from tomorrow without there being consequences, right? So, yeah. So it just like that's why a lot of people struggle. And if you steal from tomorrow's spoons, it doesn't mean that you're going to go to sleep and wake up and you'll have more spoons tomorrow. It just means you've already stolen tomorrow's spoons and tomorrow's going to be worse.
Yeah. Well, and what I was gonna
Does that make sense?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, where I was gonna tie that to is that's one of the reasons that multitasking is very rarely successful for anybody, because you get decision fatigue every time or attention fatigue every time you switch your attention from one thing to the other.
Yep.
That's effectively using up one of your spoons.
Yep.
And so when you deliberately put yourself into a situation where you have to swap back and forth, you're accelerating your spoon usage
Yep.
more than you potentially have to. Whereas if you have your system in place, whether that's
That's the thing,
an-
because it reduces the decisions you have to make. I don't have to know where everything is. I don't have to think about it. I just have to go to this station and put everything in because
so
it's all right
what
there.
you're saying is everybody should dress like Steve Jobs. We should all just wear jeans and turtlenecks and all the same color. Or Mark Zuckerberg, doesn't he do the same thing?
I don't know.
Maybe that's the key to being wildly successful, is wearing the same color shirt and same
I'm
color
not
pants
saying
every day.
that because that's not what I'm saying at all. I am saying put systems like and this isn't I'm not saying this from I do this really well because I don't. I'm really good at the stealing from weeks ahead spoons. That's where I'm coming from with this. But yeah, so when I was going through this, just talking about making sure that you're doing with the systems like visual schedules, timers, alarms, we talked about doing the same task in the same physical location every day makes a difference. You talked about one of the things that I want to do once we have a counter in our bathroom and not just a pedestal sink, is to have a basket on either side. Here's the kids' morning stuff that they have to do. And when you do one thing, you take it out of the basket on the left, move it to the basket on the right.
Mhm.
And then at night you come in, take it out of the basket, move it back to the other basket. And then it just sets that into place to be successful, because those are the things that I know that, and then from talking to friends, they don't have to remember to brush their teeth every night. That just happens for them. They just automatically walk to the bathroom, do their thing. That doesn't happen for our children,
No.
right?
And
And
kind
I
of,
think like it's not necessarily that our, like that our son doesn't want to wash his face every day. He just really doesn't think about it.
mhm.
And so having everything set up like that to be successful is the way to do it. So
Yeah.
anyway, visual is really important. Making it predictable, putting it physical location that you're going to do it, and just make sure you're doing like fewer goals. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Something I was going to say I have in my show notes here that I made. We often get hung up on the whole, I don't want something to dictate my life, right?
Yeah.
I it was a few years ago now, I guess 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I was doing my little hand saw or my hand cut joinery practice daily thing.
When that was the current obsession.
It still kind of is. I just don't have a space to do it.
Physical spaces are important.
Physical spaces are important. Anyway, I've got pretty competent with a handsaw, and the other, I guess a couple months ago now, I needed to cut a board, and I grabbed my handsaw, and I cut it, and I looked at it, and I was like, that looks pretty square. Like, just looks really nice. And so because I was obsessing about it, I went and grabbed my square and I checked it, and it was bang on. It's just like no marks, nothing. I cut it perfectly square with my handsaw. But I don't have to do that every single time. There are jigs that ensure that that happens without my concentration and my effort, right? And so there are times where you need to freehand cut something and it needs to be perfect. But you don't have to do that every single time. That's why in the workshop jigs exist. Like that's why we have things like repeatability, like furniture making. Repeatability is more important than accuracy.
Well, if you're thinking of spoon theory with that, if you reduce your bathroom decision fatigue because all of your stuff is laid out in your baskets, you're just moving it back and forth, then you're saving up spoons. And the next day you actually start with more spoons than you needed necessarily,
Is there any way that I could have all the spoons?
No. But that might mean that then on that weekend when you have to go on a work trip and you go to the hotel and you don't have all your stuff in that same spot and you had to use up extra spoons to do packing and you had to use up, then instead of being in a deficit at that point, you're actually able to cope with it
You have more reserve
because
capacity.
you had reserve capacity.
And
Does
I
that
think
make
that's
sense?
yeah, and I think that's an important thing about systems too, is that the system is training you to do the thing automatically eventually as well.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it won't be for everything for you, but just like every other muscle memory type of thing, when you have something that kind of forces you down a certain path, it's easier to go down that path, and then your body becomes trained to do that thing.
Yeah. So you get your system into place with what you're thinking about, or you start thinking about your goals. Don't, I think, like just kind of not necessarily like stop on systems for the whole half hour.
Well, I think that it kind of ties into what we need to talk
But
about
I
next
think
too.
it'll come back around. Yeah. But like, I think when you're making those resolutions, don't make a vague resolution of be more organized. Great. How are you going to do that? Right? Stop procrastinating. Again, you're just like taking away your spoons by saying it.
Yeah. So something that I've talked to a lot of clients about here over the last several months is the difference between outcome and values-based goals. I don't know if we've talked about that on the podcast at all, have we?
I don't know.
I don't think we have, but I think it ties into what we're talking about here. So I think that's an important thing. So an outcome-based goal is there's a starting point and a concrete end point, right? Like I'm going to lose 10 pounds,
Yeah.
or I'm going to complete said project, or whatever.
Yeah.
And the problem with establishing purely outcome-based goals is that they are not necessarily guaranteed to be achievable.
No, and often set you up for that shame spiral loop.
Yeah, because you didn't achieve it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whether that's your own fault because you did something dumb, or
But
something outside of your control,
yeah, but you often end up internalizing that failure because
because you
it's
didn't
easier to
achieve your goal.
internalize than to question, was this goal effective?
Yeah,
You're just like, oh, I was crappy. I couldn't do
yeah.
X, Y, Z.
But the example that I've used with clients, so is to kind of externalize it, to emphasize the fact that it isn't necessarily achievable. Like I have a goal to buy a house,
Uh-huh.
and I sell, I save up my down payment of $15,000-$20,000, whatever it is, but war breaks out, or the housing market spikes, and
Yeah.
suddenly instead of $20,000, I need $50,000, or the house I'm about to buy burns down, or
Yeah.
something. These are all potentially realistic scenarios that stop you from achieving your goal, regardless of what you yourself can do about it.
Yeah.
And so that's the downfall of outcome-based goals. Whereas a values-based goals is, like using the house example, is like I am the type of person, I want to be the type of person who buys a house.
Mm-hmm.
And so regardless of what's going on, you can still work towards that goal. It's always achievable. Today's way to achieve it is not necessarily the same as tomorrow's way to
Yeah.
achieve it. Or I want to be the type of person who is a good parent.
Yeah.
Then that dictates behaviors.
But I think that's exactly what you're getting at there, is to remember, like, often we reset the same goals every year. Oh, I'm going to get healthier. I'm going to lose 10 pounds, whatever. But if you keep failing at those goals, maybe it's not a character issue, right? Like, it's not what you were just talking about.
I achieved my goals from last year.
No, I'm not. Good. But maybe it's a design issue. And that's what I think you're trying to get at, right? Because the way you're designing the goal is not working for you. So it's being able to look at your goals, address them, and say, was this successful? Did this help me? Do I feel like I achieved it? And if I didn't, don't just set the same goal again.
I disagree.
Put the
I'm
systems
going to
into
set the
place.
same goal.
Okay. Would you like to share your goals?
I would. I made the goal to be less happy, to gain weight, and to be more broke.
Wow. I don't even have words.
I was successful in my goals.
I wish you had shared those horrendous mistakes in your life.
No,
Say.
hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
I can't.
So, I mean, everybody knows that you're terrible at setting goals. New Year's resolutions, you
I
always
thought
fail
you were
at your New
joking when
Year's.
you say those things.
No, but so this way, if normally I fail at my goals. This year I didn't fail at my goals, so I feel like success.
That's
so
horrible. No, you are giving bad advice. Do not listen to him.
Listen to me. I'm the one with the psychology degree.
Yeah, that's terrible advice. Okay, that's an ugly resolution because it rewards poor behavior.
But I feel good about myself.
But do you really feel good about yourself? Achieving goals of... Oh, okay. I don't know. No, that's terrible.
I feel hurt that you're not supporting me.
I'm not supporting that.
Fine. I will be the type of person that fails at those types of goals then this year.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about people who said, I don't even know where to go from here. Like, this
Should we just end it now?
terrible. But there's some bad resolutions that you can make where you put yourself into a situation of actually being
Like unachievable goals.
Well, beyond unachievable, but like they're typically too, and this is probably more of like a female thing. We set goals to be like, oh, I'm going to be more helpful at this, or like better, like making myself, I'm going to stop being so sensitive. I'm going to act more socially. I'm going to push through instead of taking a break. Do you know what I mean? No, because
Goals that, you mean goals that
there are goals
are...
like that are like, at work, I'm going to push through until I'm done my task instead of taking any breaks.
So
Right?
goals
So
that
those
are
goals
damaging to
actually,
you.
yeah, those are actually damaging goals, although those goals are praised often, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's important to remember that those goals are also like spoon sucking goals, and you are going to collapse, right? It will, that's not a healthy goal. So I think it's important to like reframe what you're doing. And I don't even remember your 3 goals now, except that I thought they were horrible. But how could you reframe those, right? If you said my goal was to gain weight because you didn't want to make the goal to not lose weight or to lose weight because that one didn't work out. So just say gain weight and then you can be successful. How could you reframe that to be a positive and like a goal that you can work on that's not a linear, like I'm going to lose 10 pounds, I'm going to lose weight, right?
So you mean like
So change it
the
to be like,
I'm going to gain weight this year because I want to be like Santa Claus?
no. Change it to be like, I'm going to make a healthy choice. Or 3 days a week, I'm going to make sure no, because even like 3 days a week, you're still setting a time-based goal. But like, I'm going to look at my calendar, see which days I'm most tired on, and I'm going to give myself grace to not work out those days. But I'm going to put on like, say maybe like Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're busy with kids until late at night. I am not going to plan on working out those days of the week. But I am going to plan to try and work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Does that make sense?
So part of setting a goal then is to be realistic with yourself.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Not necessarily,
Yeah.
like...
Look at where you're over functioning. Look at where you're putting in too much energy and effort, and then address those areas, pull back there, and then see where you can give yourself permission to have some downtime, to have some rest time, to make your goals more like process goals, not outcome goals. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So focusing on environmental changes over behavioral changes, because those behavior changes will come with changes in environment, right? Because all behavior is a form of communication. And if you're not stressed and angry about trying to find stuff because the stuff is right there, the anger's gone without you trying. Do you know what I mean?
So to use physical health, because that's what let's face it, everybody's going to make some sort of
Physical
exercise
goal. Yeah.
goal this next 6 months, or well, next 6 days, I mean.
Yeah.
So rather than setting a goal of, I am going to exercise for 20 minutes per day today, blah, 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 a process goal or a values-based goal
Yeah, I think
is then I am going to organize my house to make my exercise equipment more accessible.
yeah.
But that's still kind of outcomey, though.
It's so like instead of saying I'll be more productive, say I'll redesign my day to require less recovery time. Does that make sense? So if you say I want to work out more, I'm going to redesign my day so that I have time to do a physical activity. And making sure, and I think that then the key of that comes into the physical activity needs to be something you enjoy. If you absolutely hate cycling and that's what you've chosen to do as your physical activity because you have a bicycle,
You're not going to do
it's not going to happen, right? It's going to be painful and annoying and frustrating. And if your bicycle is in the basement with the wheel off, it's never going to happen. But if you put the bicycle together, you get a tricycle instead or something that you enjoy and you cycle to work 3 times because it's sitting there ready to go and all your things are in place for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It can change. So it's putting that process into working action. That's what I'm meaning. Which I think is like a slightly different than a values-based goal. Like it is still values-based because you're basing it on the value that you want. but you're adding the systems element to it.
Yeah. And so
And then, so my focus is like, and then this is what I'm trying to do, like at school and work this year too, is like my focus is on environmental changes that I can make, so that, because I know what needs to happen, and we have the textbooks, we have all of the things, but if your environment isn't set up to be successful, it's not going to work for me or for my students. It doesn't.
Yeah. And I think that's an important thing to...
We can tie that back into our why our year has been difficult, because our environment is not set up for 5 people.
Yeah, that's true. But my mind's drawing a blank what I was going to say now. Basically what we've been talking about, it's more important to set a directional goal rather than a specific outcome goal. But they do go hand in hand though, because where I've been talking to people about values and outcome-based goals is they're 2 completely different sets of goals. Right? Like the outcome-based goal is a destination, but the value is the journey that you take to get to that destination. And so what you're talking about is process. When you're talking about process, that's what you're like for us, for example, for us where we live to drive to Calgary. It's about a 6-hour drive, 6.5-hour drive for us if we want to go to Calgary. Now we can have the value of getting there as quickly as possible in some way if that's important to us, or we could have the value of let's take the scenic route. One is stressful and terrible and goes through traffic. The other takes us through the mountains if we want to go that way. It does take significantly longer. But depending on the process that you want to take and the value that you have dictates then the way you get to the outcome at the end of the day.
And I'd say my process base or my systems puts into place that either one of those goals could be successful and could be work for you. Maybe speed is what you need to do because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So how can you put a system into place to make speed enjoyable? Do you know what I mean? Because there are going to be things in your life that you have to do.
So that's where when you have the outcome-based goal, and this is what I was going to say earlier before I got sidetracked, is we need to switch our mindsets from that.
I could just talk again so you get sidetracked. Or you can be sidetracked by the running bunny.
By the rabbit running around the house. And there, you did it to me again.
Sorry. Outcome.
Failure.
Oh.
The problem with outcome-based goals is when we focus on the outcome as the important thing and not the direction you're heading in as the important thing, then when you do hit those failures of the day, that's when it becomes overwhelming and derails you. Whereas if you are taking exercise as an example, I am the type of person who exercises every day. You can assess your day and go, well, you know what? I took the stairs instead of the elevator.
Yeah.
That was a type of person. I didn't get my half hour of bench press or whatever done, but I was the type of person who did a physical thing. And so when we do hit a failure point in an outcome-based goal, that's when you can step back and go, okay, what kept me from achieving that goal?
Yeah.
Then you go another step back and say, okay, what system can I do to prevent that problem from happening again? It kind of reminds me of a video I saw a little while ago about this old trucker. He had a big truck that had 3-4 million miles on it, something like that. He's closing in on 5 million miles, and he was just doing this walkthrough video of his truck, and he was showing all of these different modifications that he did on the truck throughout and each one of them was a result. Each one of these systems on this truck was installed as a result of a problem that he had at some point.
Yeah.
And so then that, so being the type of person who recognizes problems as growth opportunities or change opportunities is probably the most important change to make, is go, okay, I'm not a failure because I made this mistake. It's what caused this mistake to happen.
Yeah.
How can I prevent that from being a problem in the future? And then that's where you initially start your system.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. So it's about self-reflection and analysis before you make the goals.
I'm
You
terrible at
have to
self-reflection, so
you have to be kind of a bit of a scientist at that point and look at yourself in a non-judgmental way and just say, "Hey, this isn't working."
so
And
then
like I did that today. I was like, something that takes me longer than it should in the morning is picking out what I'm going to wear. And dead silence over here.
I'm not going to say
Say
anything.
anything. So
Maybe you
I
should
went,
organize your closet like mine. Makes it easy.
no, but I went through and I was like, these are clothes that I'm keeping in here because I have memories attached to them, but not clothes that I wear anymore. So they're taking up mental load every day for me to go through those because I still look at them. So I took out all of those things. I didn't throw them away because I'm not ready to throw those things away yet or to donate them yet. I put them in a bin and they can go into storage for now. And that's okay. But that means that when I go to get dressed in the morning, it's just the clothes that I am going,
So you
like,
will want to
that
wear.
I want to wear, that fit or that, are for this season right now because we're in the middle of winter. I didn't need to have summer dresses in there. I didn't need to have shorts in my closet anymore. Not going to wear those right now. Right? So it's about putting those kind of things. It's just little things. And that's what I'm meaning too. Don't set yourself up for a massive goal of I'm going to work out 10 days a week, right? Which isn't even possible, but you know what I mean? Like I'm going to work out every day. I'm going to work out for an hour. I'm going to reset my meals. I'm going to do all of these things. Go to your kitchen and think, what is preventing me from cooking a healthy meal?
What's irritating me right now in this
Yeah.
kitchen?
What do I find frustrating? What prevents me when I come to the kitchen? What is ticking me off? And change that thing and
I
sit
think
with
that
it for like a month. Did that change work? Reflect on it again at the end of the month. And that's more of what I'm talking about right now. It's not about, I think that that's where we've gotten really confused with big goal setting and there's a lot of money being made in goal setting and physical fitness equipment that gets sold in January and all that kind of stuff, when really what we need to be doing is the self-reflection piece to adjust what we already have.
yeah, well said. Again,
I know.
derailed myself. I was going to say
Sorry.
something, add to it, but you're just too smart for me.
Not. So I guess that is like my goal for this year
Oh,
is to
1%. That's what it was.
Yeah. We talked about that this
we
week
did
because
we
that's been
did
in my
well, and we talked about it on the podcast a
Yeah,
little
we've
while.
talked about
The
it a couple of
aggregation of
times, I
marginal
think.
gains, and I think what you said is like when you go into the kitchen or whatever, recognizing the thing that's irritating you, and then reflecting on that, and going, okay, how can I change this?
Well,
Or
and
what
you
needs to change? Or
Yeah.
what can I do to improve this?
And I guess that's where it ties into your values-based goal, and I'm starting to see it now. It's starting to click in my head, is that my value is cooking healthy meals for my family. That's a value that I hold. But then I need to address it in a systems and process-based way. What is preventing that from happening?
Yeah.
And then my goal can't be healthy meals every day. My goal is going to be, I'm going to change where I keep my pots for a month and see if that makes this better.
And if it doesn't,
right? Then change it again.
Change it again.
And that's why I'm only saying for a month. You're not making a 12-month goal where you change one thing and you have to keep it for a year. That's insanity.
I think, yeah.
And maybe for some people it works, but in my experience, no.
This is a mistake on our part. We should have totally capitalized on the whole marketing thing and made like some sort of reflection journal thing on Amazon publishing.
It will be coming.
Oh yeah, good point. It'll be coming. Because as we just said, reflection and goal setting is not a once a year thing. That it is a continual process. It's a continual change.
And I was actually looking for this because I was thinking about how to do it with my kids and with my students and with us, is a reflection-based journal based on systems, not on goals. So,
Well, maybe this is an offline topic that we should talk about.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, I think overall, what are we summing this up to be? Goals should be
Made
based on, yeah, but you shouldn't, okay, so your goals
direction
should
over resolution. You
Yeah.
should make your goal, or you should set a direction that you want to be heading towards, not necessarily a destination.
Yeah, so like your goal isn't necessarily to become an entirely different person this year, right?
Yeah.
It's not to be, it's to live more fully with who you are and with what you have, putting in supports in place to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You're looking at me like I'm a crazy person.
That's because you are.
I try.
Doesn't mean I don't like you.
So just, yeah, it's to not use up all your spoons every day.
Yeah.
Right? So start thinking about your goals not as how can I get more spoons and expend more, but how can I utilize
my existing spoons more effectively?
existing spoons and retain some, which is something that you know that I struggle with.
Yeah, you're definitely a give it 110% person to everything that comes your way.
Give away all my spoons.
And I think that's another important thing too. Self-care is not necessarily selfish if it means that you are more resilient and able to help other people in the future. It's the whole airline put on your own air mask first.
Yep.
Doesn't do you any good if you're both passed out.
Yeah. So just, yeah, thinking along those lines when you're setting goals and asking yourself, like, to ask yourself the questions, why am I setting this goal? So you have to do those values assessments as well,
Yep.
right? And I think that's an important part of reflection is assessing your values, why you have those things, understanding those core beliefs, and then putting into place systems and environmental changes, not focusing on behavior. Because when you're focused on behavior, all you're going to see is the behavior. And that behavior can't change if you haven't changed the environment. Or does that make sense?
It's very deterministic of you.
I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, and on that note,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And happy 2026. Every episode of this podcast exists because a few folks decided it was worth supporting, not with just their ears and their attention, but with their actual hard-earned cash. And that's very humbling. And I want to take a moment to thank the founding fathers of the Workshop Therapy podcast, the first 5 who got this show on the road and who earned their permanent thank you. Mr. Matthew from Argiano Serio, Brad of Brad's Customs, Keith of Blackthorn Concepts, Eric of Overall Makerworks, Brandon of Tectonic Creations. I'd really like to thank you. Your support really does mean more than you realize. You've helped keep the lights on, the mics running, and the message moving.